Good evening, YouTube. It's Adam Hundley here from the Tree of Liberty channel, accompanied by my wife, Taylor Hundley.
That's my name on YouTube.
And tonight, the branch from the Tree of Liberty falls on, you guessed it, preparedness. So what we have here is an emergency kit. Do you have any questions about what is an emergency kit?
Well, like, what would you consider to need an emergency kit for?
A good emergency kit calls for 3 main items. Or
I don't want to know what it's called for. I want to know what it's for.
Alright. There's 3 main principles that you want covered. You want a means for shelter, a means for water purification, and a means of procuring food, which also includes fire, because in most cases you need to cook your food.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have those items or principles covered, then a survival kit will most likely be a success. Shall we go inside?
Go for it.
Alright.
St. Patty's Day, we've got the green here, even though that was yesterday. But
this is actually a U.S. government-issued military combat pack.
How did you acquire that?
I found this at a yard sale.
Awesome.
Very cheaply. So it has lots and lots of straps on it.
Yeah, it does.
It sometimes can be a pain in the butt to get into.
Strings, straps,
but
Velcro.
The main thing is remembering how to get into it. No, I have my straps tied up on
cool, though.
On the bottom of the pack in loops so that they don't catch on things when I'm walking with it. And they also double over the actual clasps.
Well, you kind of have to know where to start.
Yeah.
If you don't know to start in the bottom, like, you're going to try and start up here and you're going to have absolutely no luck.
As you'll soon find out, that the point of this outer bag is for concealment purposes. It's olive drab green, which is standard camo in the military because it can blend into almost any background. And this bag alone is for the purpose of concealment. The actual emergency pack is inside this bag.
Now, can you fit more into that bag if needed?
This bag has many extra pockets, 6 on the exterior, so that you can load anything you may find on any travels that you want to add to your essential bug-out bag. This would be my bug-out bag. This is my survival kit.
That's something that you didn't have prior to this video when we tried before. We just had this, and there was really no way to add anything to your equipment, per se.
Right. I was limited to 1 pocket that was unused in this pack. To add anything for foraging purposes or scavenging purposes, I've upgraded with concealment and 6 pockets, which I don't need to open this to get to the other 6 pockets. They're immediately available on the outside. And they're also strapped, but they come with buttons.
What?
Deep enough for me to fit past my wrist. Easily fit like a 25-ounce can of beer in there. You know, essentials.
I was thinking more like ammo or food or something.
There's 5 more pockets.
So you designate 1 pocket per...
Let's not get into specifics.
Yeah, let's not. That'll be way too long.
So, what's your immediate response upon looking at this?
The weapon on top.
Very good observation. On the top of the pack, there is a broken down crossbow. It's a handheld pistol version. The bow, which is tied onto the pack, so that I can't lose it accidentally. Notice the clip on the bow so that I can also not lose it.
Where did we got this from Cabela's?
Yes, this was $50 at Cabela's.
Along with this bag that he's got everything stored in, that was from Cabela's as well.
Yes, this was a free gift for signing up for their credit card. Beware.
Good company though.
No complaints so far.
Hopefully never.
Now, in addition to being an emergency preparedness pack, this pack, as you see, contains a weapon for not only self-defense, but for hunting, or maybe even certain utilitarian purposes. Say you need to shoot a rope over there into that tree. We got you right here.
This, I think you would still need in an emergency too, just because it helps defend yourself.
Right.
You know.
Self-defense.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
One of the primary reasons to have it in an emergency. Right. But another key feature to this bag is that it's travel safe. In my home state of Michigan, it's illegal to carry a strung crossbow with bolts, and it's also illegal to carry a fixed blade knife or other stabbing utensil according to the law, which, if you think about it, you can stab somebody with just about anything.
I can stab you with my finger.
Right, so
I will not.
This pack is locked with all of the restricted items that you cannot carry in your vehicle unless they are locked in a case. So for travel purposes, I can carry this bag around anywhere I go, and it's concealed so nobody knows that it's even got a lock on it or any weapons. It's not noticeable, non-discreet. It blends in almost anywhere, so having it with you is key. You never know when there's going to be an emergency situation. So let's open up this lock and see what we got in this pocket here.
Can I ask a question?
Fire away.
When does the crossbow become illegal to carry? Whenever, like that one piece has to be attached to it?
You can carry a crossbow with the string and the bow attached as long as your arrows or bolts, as they're considered when using a crossbow, are locked up.
Okay.
Therefore, it's not immediately accessible to you as if you were to draw a weapon from your belt and fire. You know, it takes at least 3 steps to get this operable. Same thing for a fixed blade or any other weapon. If you don't have a concealed carry permit in Michigan, it's illegal.
Ooh, goodies.
Lots of goodies in here. We have a quiver. This carries the bowstring and the bolts. They're just plastic with a steel tip. Effective in short range. This is actually just a cell phone case, an old, like a flip phone, like way back in the Stone Age of like 2008.
Dude, I was like, that was my freshman year of high school.
So, I graduated high school that year.
You got a stylish rubber band on there?
That's actually a hair tie. Because
that's where my hair ties go.
When fully mounted on the bow, this hair tie helps create tension so that I can slide a flashlight inside this duct tape strap.
Look at that.
Which gives me instant night vision.
I just want you guys to know that I have not seen all of this stuff. So that I didn't realize about that flashlight part. That's pretty neat, actually.
This here is a very sturdy fixed blade knife with a non-beveled spine, 90 degrees, very strong, very stout. It is an all-purpose utility knife. You can use this to chop down a tree if you wanted to. It is that strong. Rubberized handle for ergonomic grip, made by Smith & Wesson. Same people who make your favorite handgun. This knife can be used the same way an axe is used to cut down a tree, but instead of swinging it into the tree, you set the knife on the tree, you grab your log, and you pound the knife with the log. And it's important to have a very strong spine with a 90-degree edge, no bevel, so that your spine will not break or fold or chip when you strike it with a baton. But you do that and you make marks like you would with an axe. First a downward angle and then an upward angle, and you take out chips as you go all the way around the tree. It'll look a lot like when a beaver chews a tree down. The same pattern will appear on the tree as when you would baton the tree down with a knife. And we're talking about trees about as big around as maybe the average person's calf. You know, not a large tree. Important. Fixed blade knife, very sturdy, utilitarian. I also have the rest of the gear for the crossbow. Here's a foregrip, a rear sight, a forward sight, and all the necessary tools in this bag.
Are you putting it right back in the bag?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to have it all out on the table.
Alright, so I was just going to try and go over that.
So this is the last item in the pocket. It's a fixed blade handsaw for limbing. It's good for cutting small branches. Could also work in a pinch to cut small logs into firewood length or lengths needed for shelter. It's got a fairly aggressive set of teeth on it, but nothing too radical. And that's all for the locked pocket of restricted travel items. In the front pocket, I have a flashlight, and this flashlight has a zoom feature. As you can see, the intensity changes. It also has two settings for brightness.
Oh.
And not to offend any of our potentially epileptic viewers, but a strobe function, which when employed in self-defense can be very debilitating to the attacker. Question.
Oh no, that wasn't a question. I was just saying I have astigmatism, so something like that would irritate my eyes in a heartbeat.
Especially if it's in the dark.
Yes. Yep. Much worse in the dark for sure.
Alright.
Next.
We'll move on to the side pocket. Sorry. In my side pocket, I have space blankets. Quick and easy access to being able to warm yourself is very important. If you're soaking wet and you take your clothes off and you wrap yourself in this right here, one of these blankets, your body will retain the heat that it's losing through the moisture. And as long as you can get yourself dry and into some better clothes and to a fire, you will most likely survive. But this is a very essential stopgap to lengthen the amount of time that you have to survive between potential getting too cold, like hypothermic conditions. Very important to note that when using space blankets, if you're covering up with them like a blanket, don't breathe underneath of the blanket, as it will trap the moisture in your breath, condense it onto the inside of the blanket, and get you soaking wet. And that is not what you want when you're trying to stay warm. You want to stay dry and you want to stay warm. And if you're dry, these will help you stay warm.
Where do you get these from?
You can find space blankets at any Walmart, Meijer.
I was gonna say, I feel like I have seen that at Meijer when I worked there before.
Yep, they sell the orange ones.
Okay.
And,
so it's not that hard to come by.
the silver ones, you might find them at your big box stores, but you most likely find those at a place like Gander Mountain or Cabela's or, other sports-related stores.
Dick's Sporting Goods.
Also,
So what are these for?
this is actually going to come in very handy with the next item that I'm going to bring out. So far, we've covered procurement of food, procurement of shelter. With this, we have procurement of water.
Is that your new straw?
This is the Sawyer Life Straw. And I keep it in the package to keep it dry. You cannot freeze this or it will damage the filter inside. It comes with a bag. It also comes with a straw, and it comes with a cleaning syringe, because the filter in this straw is the same filter that they use in dialysis. So when great grandma goes in and gets her blood filtered, it's the same technology it used filtering water through the straw. It filters down to 0.1 micron. That's pretty damn small, and it filters out 99.999 and so on of all particulates and foreign matter in your water. It can filter up to 100,000 gallons of water, and all it's required for cleaning is back flushing clean water through the filter to flush out all of the crap that it filters out. It comes with a bag so that you can fill up with dirty water and squeeze through the filter to make clean water come out into a container. I got it. So as to this nifty little device, notice the clip comes apart, and there's a very large O-ring attached on a strap. This comes in handy when you find a container that you want to put water in, using your Sawyer Life Straw. By the way, I'm not being sponsored by Sawyer Life Straw, but I hear very good things about them, and I would urge you to try them out. So you have a bottle. You want to put water in it. You want to strap the bottle to your pack. This O-ring on this little clip goes over top of your water bottle neck securely, and quite frustratingly sometimes, but you know that's not just going to come off. So there you have it.
Shake it.
You can throw your lid back on there, fill it up with water, and that's not going anywhere.
Did that come with a straw?
No, these are separate, and I actually bought them at a thrift store. I cannot tell you where they're manufactured or where you can buy them, other than look up H2O at HSC. That's the inscription on it. www.jeng-an.com. That's the information I have on these clips, and it comes with a nice little clip to strap on to anything, a belt loop, a bag, a backpack, what have you. And there you have it. You can transport
That's
water.
cool.
Any questions?
There's others. Nope.
Okay, moving on. I have a canteen. This is plastic. Comes in a case. The case has a strap on it to hold it all together and to hook to a belt loop, or maybe one of these little straps right here that I just detailed. It's plastic. I prefer plastic because in cold temperatures your water will stay unfrozen longer in plastic than it will in tin. And if you're trying to consume a hot liquid, tin will cool it much faster than plastic will. There is, to some degree, an ability at which you can sterilize liquid with sunlight in a plastic container, but this container is very opaque, so I doubt that it would work. You want a translucent container, something you can see through clearly. As you can see, this has quite a bit of
residue, maybe?
It's not see-through.
Right.
If you're going to use solar radiation to sterilize your water, this probably isn't the best bet. But for drinking your hot cocoa in the freezing cold, this is perfect. Maintain temperature to a degree. Also means to carry water.
That's cool.
Most of the items that I have that are frequent pull out and use items or very important items, I tend to have clipped to my bag. Here I have a carabiner clipped to my ferrocerium rod. Of course, when you want it to strike, when
like
people are
yesterday.
watching, it won't. But there it goes. Ferrocerium rod.
Where'd you get that?
I got this at a Meijer. It's the Bear Grylls edition. It comes with a whistle.
Oh, yeah.
Just briefly.
Don't wake our children.
Yeah, I don't think they'll wake up from that. There's a little slide on the string to tighten it up so it won't come apart. Also, there's a hidden compartment which I have taped off, and I have tinder inside there, cattail fluff, I do believe, but I'm not going to take it apart. It's been sealed for a while. It ought to be pretty dry, but I like this because it has emergency signals printed on the side of it for
Cool. I've never really looked at that.
For SOS, and most of it's worn off of this one, so maybe you take that into consideration when buying it. They do wear out. I've used the hell right out of this thing. It's worn down pretty good.
He does use it constantly. He's actually lit quite a few fires in our fireplace with it.
Yeah, and grills. I like to light the grill with it. Mostly just for practice.
I just use a lighter because I'm a woman.
Things that light up great with that are cotton balls or Q-tips soaked in petroleum jelly. If you get them fluffed up right and you get the soak, the consistency just right, they'll light in one spark and burn 3 to 4 times longer than a match.
There's no like different petroleum jellies, right? It's just
petroleum jelly is petroleum jelly.
Okay, right.
As far as I know.
We just have the Walmart Parents' Choice.
I would urge the non-scented variety because of critters. Unless, you're trying to draw mice into your pack. But
you can eat some mice. I mean, if you're desperate, you're desperate.
You very well can, but just be aware, scented materials draw critters.
That's good information to know.
I have plastic sheeting. It's very minimal stuff. I'm actually looking to upgrade to a shower curtain. I've heard good things. The specific type of plastic that the shower curtain has to be.
What is it?
I believe VEPA. VEPA, but I might have to correct myself later. Don't quote me.
And it has to be clear.
And yeah, clear plastic is the best for trapping external heat inside, like from a fire or from sunlight. Like the old adage is, if you leave the windows up in your car, it's going to get hot in there, right? So the idea of clear plastic is the same.
Yeah.
You can heat up a shelter, reflecting the heat back at yourself with the space blanket and trapping it in your shelter with the clear plastic. This is by no means the most high quality plastic I could use, but for now, that's what I've got. 2 big rolls of it.
And we did look, the other day, and we couldn't find anything. So until we do for a decent price, that's what we got. It works.
That's what we got. That's right. Got immediate rain cover. There's a poncho in here. Also, I have an ace bandage in there. Just because I like to have multiple uses for any bags that I'm using to keep things dry.
You used to have room in there, too, to fit.
I could put this in my first aid kit, but if you step on a log wrong and twist your ankle, you don't need to bust out the whole first aid kit. You just need an ace bandage. It's some Tylenol.
That was very slick, babe.
So,
very slick.
I got a couple other hygiene things. There's some toothpaste. Full assortment of nail clippers and tweezers and other personal hygiene items for people like me that have to dig out unsightly and obscene, very painful ingrown toenails. So,
and he's got pink. Real men wear pink.
Pink is the color of winners. Got a knife sharpener here. It has a reusable insert that you can, I shouldn't say reusable, replaceable sharpening insert. You can pick them up at the store. This is the
shout out to who?
Smith's knife sharpener.
He got it for Christmas from his wife.
From Taylor Hundley.
Cabela's,
yes. The best gift I got from somebody else.
He was, let me tell you, when he got this he didn't know he had anything in his stocking for Christmas. He was so excited. And this little thing only costs like $10, but to see the look on my husband's face getting this thing, and you've used it.
Yeah, I've sharpened every knife that I have with it.
Right. It's a pretty good sharpener. It's little, compact, very easy.
Also, I want to point out that in the beginning of this video, I stated that an emergency pack has to cover heat, food and water, and shelter. That's the bare minimum. You can fit that into your back pocket if you want. This pack offers me 2 options. It offers me the ability to provide myself with a temporary shelter long enough to build a sustainable shelter, or it allows me the option to find my way back to any type of civilization if I happen to find myself lost. So it allows me the ability to bug out in a shit hit the fan situation and not come back to anything at all if it were to come down to that, which I really hope it doesn't, because I frickin' love the internet and stuff, man. And
we got some children to take care of.
And the chillins, and I love my TV, and
Walking Dead.
And bug out means all that's over.
Yeah.
It's not going to be fun if we have to bug out. Living out of this bag is not going to be fun, but I've designed it in the purpose that if I have to, for my family, we can.
For a family of 4, mind you. It's Adam and I and our... Well,
we have a dog, too.
But, you know, if we got really hungry, we could just shoot him.
Oh, that just set PETA right on fire. Well, you know, Venezuela, you know, they're having to resort to that right now, and if...
I hope it never comes to that.
If it ever comes to that here in America, I'm sorry, Max, but...
We're prepared. Where are you at? Oh, he's probably on the bed.
The kids won't know, I guarantee you that. Moving on.
Enough about our dog.
Duct tape.
He's literally got duct tape everywhere.
Obviously, you can use duct tape for a lot of things.
My mouth, sometimes.
That's one. I've used duct tape in lieu of a Band-Aid because I didn't have any.
You did on your knee.
On lots of different times, I've used duct tape as a Band-Aid. But this isn't just duct tape. I actually have in here some old bandages, which they're not like for first aid purposes. And they're all skewered together with paper clips. That's for like mainly char cloth making.
Sorry guys, there's just a piece of hair, that's why.
Which I can get into later when I get my char cloth utensil out. I also have some steel wool tucked inside the duct tape.
Was this a duct tape roll?
Yes, it is actually a roll of duct tape, but I've just folded it. It's actually still in the wrapper, unused.
Oh!
It's just a cheap little knockoff, like rip-off roll of duct tape.
Duct tape is duct tape, though, I tell you.
Worst case scenario, this stuff is great tinder. You can light duct tape on fire.
Oh, really?
It'll burn for a long time. Absolutely.
I didn't know that.
Same with steel wool. Put a lighter to this, it'll go up. Throw your ferrocerium rod in this. After you fluff it up, it'll go up. Enough for you to throw your tinder on it and get it going. You can put a battery, any kind of electrical current into the steel wool. It'll go up. You get an ember into this. The ember will actually burn the wool. It's kind of cool. It's metal. It's steel, but it's in a wool form, so it actually burns fairly easily.
So you could just use like a Brillo pad?
I don't know. They have some...
Well, it's got the cleaning chemicals on it.
That's just plain old steel wool.
Oh, okay. Well, and you can buy that, too. I think Menards and, like, Home Depot and Lowe's.
Yeah,
maybe?
you can find steel wool at any place that sells any kind of tools, anywhere.
I didn't expect this to be that heavy because I didn't realize that it was a roll.
Speaking of heavy, by the way, this pack, when inside of the concealment pack, and this actually weighs probably like a pound at least. Empty. There's nothing in that right now.
Oh, yeah.
That's fairly heavy.
Yeah, it is. It is for a bag.
It adds some weight to
what
the
type
overall.
Of material is
this?
This
Nylon.
Okay.
This is a nylon pack.
Yeah, nylon is a little bit heavier.
You have to sun dry this if it gets wet. You can't wash it and dry it. It'll fall apart. It's meant to be dried in the field. It's actually an Army field pack. I outlined it in the beginning, but I wanted to point out that the two packs are actually lashed together by the straps so that I can't lose it.
Which one came off? Both of them? Like both of these?
Oh, these, the shoulder strap of the Cabela's bag will unclip from the bag. So if I unclip it, I can detach the two bags.
I guess I haven't really looked at my Cabela's bag
so
too
now,
well.
This is separate entirely, no longer attached. This is the strap for the Cabela bag, and I'll just reattach it. Later. Say if I want to go out and gather, you know, whatever I need in this bag.
Did you put water in there and carry it back, you think?
No, it actually has air vents in the bottom.
Ah, okay.
So that it doesn't gather moisture inside and rot the bag. Can't see it from far away, but these are little screen vents. They're all along the bottom.
Where was that bag at?
Out in my shed.
Oh, I feel like I've never seen it before.
I had some odds and ends in it. It was mainly unused. I brought it in today.
He had 2 lighters in there.
Yeah.
We run low on lighters, and here he's got them stashed in the shed.
Aren't you happy?
Yes.
A couple more items for hygiene. got some hand sanitizer.
Always need that.
Comes in handy if you happen to accidentally puncture the gut bag of the game that you're cleaning and you don't want to pass on any E. coli to your food. Wipe your hands off with one of these rags and the duct tape and use your hand sanitizer. Very simple. I have super glue.
That's for wounds especially.
On the fly stitches right here.
Yes, he would have needed stitches in near one of his knuckles, but he just threw some super glue on it and called it good. Saved a $1,000 doctor bill, so.
If it's good enough for Mick Foley, it's good enough for me.
Amen, brother.
I have cordage. Here's some paracord, some nylon rope, and some PVC clothesline.
Is there a difference in these?
Yes, this is very lightweight stuff. You're not going to want to put a lot of weight on it. But it's also very small, and there's a lot of it. This is 50 feet. You can use this for tying down loose ends somewhere, say in a tent, or say you want to, it is clothesline by trade. It says it right on this.
Yeah.
If you want to hang up some clothes, you can do that.
Right.
Lightweight stuff, say you want to tie something down just so it doesn't blow away, or get, just some basic tying.
Right.
This stuff is well used. It's stained black.
Tied. I thought it was going to just all unravel.
It's actually a nylon-based rope.
It's actually a pretty cute color.
If I do a close-up, you can see the end is all frayed. This is what happens when you cut it. It comes unraveled. You have to actually burn it and melt it to get it to basically tie off all those loose ends. But this is good if you're employing it in a place where there's a lot of moisture. This is essentially just plastic rope. It doesn't soak up any moisture. It won't rot. Beware though, if you light it on fire, it will turn into a hot, melting, sticky, burning mess of pain. So avoid it.
It's very soft.
Yeah, and the paracord. This is this is cotton casing surrounding nylon fiber.
Okay.
So you can actually open up this case of cotton woven sleeve that goes over top of little fibers of nylon strand that are very, very sturdy. Very rip resistant. You can't just grab this and pull it and snap it. You'll cut your fingers before you snap it. You gotta cut it with a blade.
Might hurt a little bit.
But it's good stuff. You can tear it down. You can use individual strands. They're very strong. Every pack should have paracord. Hands down.
There's different thicknesses of paracord.
Yeah, this is.
I made you that.
This is not for climbing. This is for camp making, for tent making, for tying up a moose in a tree so a bear doesn't get it. No, it probably wouldn't hold it. Honestly, it's not that heavy, but you get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Questions, comments?
How much more we got?
We're reaching the bottom. The last items are fairly big.
Okay.
I'll borrow soap.
Adam needs that, trust me.
Because every once in a while you need to wash your ass.
Oh, I was thinking about his mouth. Them A words.
Or you need to wash my mouth out with soap for saying that you need to wash your ass.
And there's 2 bars of soap. Gone down the throat.
In this watertight bag is a notepad, a toothbrush, an ink pen, a first aid kit, and a container containing matches, some of which I have dipped in hot wax to waterproof them. And there's a little piece of strike pad in there. It's a very basic matches first aid kit. I'm not going to open it up. You won't see anything you can't see if you look up a first aid kit on Amazon.
Gauze, antiseptic, alcohol wipes.
It's actually like from the 80s. There's stuff in here that's illegal to manufacture. It's perfectly legal to own. It's just at your own hazard or health to use. Mercury-based antiseptics and whatnot.
Right.
I'm not trying to like douse myself in anything anyway, so...
This is the necklace I made you from paracord.
That's hemp cord.
Oh, it's the oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I thought it was paracord.
I did. I forgot to mention. My wife made me a hemp cord necklace.
That is now on his knife sharpener.
Because you never know when you're going to need it.
Do you see how special I am to him?
Hey, no man is worth anything without a knife sharpener.
He actually wore that for quite a while. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, you did. Measuring cup.
It's actually for poaching eggs.
Oh, look at that. Can I see it?
But what I intend to use it for is making char cloth.
Okay, that's what it's like.
This is just an ordinary piece of a ripped t-shirt. With this t-shirt, well, any piece of fabric and mostly anything that is carbon-based in nature, you can put inside of a container that has a fairly decent seal, but not a total airlock seal. Just, you want a little bit of gas to be able to escape from this when you set it on a bed of coals, or even bury it in a bed of coals, and that will turn this fragment of whatever you have in here, in this case t-shirt, it'll turn it into the equivalent form of charcoal, but it will be a cloth at the same time.
Wow.
And that will allow you to be able to tear off a small piece and use a ferro rod to cast a spark onto the cloth and ignite a coal within the cloth, which will allow you to light some tinder and get some kindling going, and so on until you have a nice warm fire. So that's why I have an egg poacher. Other than the fact that I could literally poach eggs in it.
Right, I was about to say, I mean...
Even if I've already used it to make char cloth.
Flavor.
Next item.
Coffee.
A coffee pot. Inside is the glass orb that goes on top of the lid. Gives me the ability to boil water, make teas from whatever herbs I might find. It's plastic handled. I have to be responsible with it, but setting it on a small bed of coals or right above a flame, it'll do the trick. I can boil water with this. I don't have to resort to using my life straw.
Is it safe to say that this could be essential for your coffee?
If I had coffee,
right,
which I don't have in this pack.
No, you don't.
But I have pockets which I could obtain coffee and put in.
I think that is something essential for you, your 4 cups of coffee before you even get out of bed in the morning.
Well, let's just say I resort to instinct without coffee, so...
That's good.
So I have a pair of work gloves and a rag in here. Just all-purpose washcloth and just some light duty gloves.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good to have that. It's not good to have calloused or blistered hands. This is a fishing, trapping, and hunting pack. I will open it up to describe what I mean by that. We have some fishing line, and around it is some snare wire. You can make traps with this wire. You can fish with this fishing line. I have tackle. I have a piece of tissue. Never know when you need to wipe your ass. And a magnifying glass.
I could have used that today.
Start fire.
I did not need it for that. I needed it to see letters.
I have a pencil sharpener in here. Very good for making little spikes if you need to, or for using wood shavings for tinder. Surprise, here's more paracord.
Oh yeah, you definitely use that one, huh?
And the tackle I promised you that I had. Hooks, sinkers, a few flies, a depth finding weight, so you know what kind of depth you're in.
Oh, that's cool. I don't think I've seen one of those.
It's common for ice fishing.
Oh, I'm not from Michigan.
Right.
So.
Yeah, so we got little flies and jigs in here. A couple hooks, some sinkers. Tie that stuff to a good sturdy stick and you got a cane pole. I also have a little bit of tinder in here. This is a film canister for you young kids. That's the same thing as an SD card for back in the day.
For your pictures.
Yeah, this has some pine sap and some birch bark inside of it. It's an emergency. Pine sap and birch bark are highly flammable. Highly. And they come highly recommended in the fire starting process. I have some over-the-counter fire starter. This stuff is called Wet Fire. It advertises that you can break it up. It's like a white pellet. You can cast a spark or light it with a lighter even when it's wet. I have yet to try it. I've yet to need it.
That's your only one, right?
I have a handful of them
throughout
the house in various packs and in my truck. They're all over.
Okay.
So guaranteed if I need one, there's probably one nearby somewhere. I have yet to use it though, so I don't know if they work. Piece of a candle, obvious fire starting, light, fireproofing matches. There's another one of those.
Looks like Mary Poppins bag there.
Yeah. So this is just a little pocket pack for if you're leaving your camp but you want hunting, fishing, trapping equipment in your pocket.
That's cool.
And there's a means to start fire, magnifying glass. Reading material.
Not just any reading material.
I have a survival pocketbook. I have a pocketbook on astronomy and a pocketbook on herbal remedies. This is the equivalent to the
Wikipedia.
Library of Alexandria in the end of days. If you find yourself on the other side of the fan when the shit is blowing, this might help you glean some information that you might not have otherwise known. I've read most of all of these, and not saying I retain it. If I did, I wouldn't bring them, but I have it. Also, reading is a good way to pass the time, and in the bush, there comes a time when that's all you have is time. You can't do anything else. Weather is good about putting you in a tent with nothing to do for 3 to 5 days. Batteries. You could say, well, what has he brought out so far that needs batteries? That's when I reveal the inner pocket. This is an old GPS from like 2004. Takes 2 AA's. It's black and white. It's not touch screen. I know how to operate it, and if I ever needed to get to a location, this and this, which is a lensatic compass, it's military style. It's given to by a friend. This compass paired with this GPS Could get me just about anywhere I need to go. I also have a small two-way radio, which is NOAA weather enabled. All I have to do is push a button on this and I get the weather report. Maybe have a chance to communicate with it. It's small, takes AAAs. It's not meant for long range communication, you know, but there's that chance. And I can get the weather, so that's important. It tells you whether to stay in or whether to travel. So that's all for the main pack. On the inside, I have a couple more pockets left.
It's amazing how many pockets are in this thing.
I have an additional compass. It comes equipped with a whistle and a thermometer. I have it on the outside pocket, which is a netting. I can see through it. I can look at this and determine the temperature or the direction without opening the pocket. Handy. I also have a wristwatch with a compass embedded in the handle. Well, the part that goes around your wrist. So I can see time and direction on that without looking in, without opening the pocket. And I have a spare old beater pocket knife. It's a case. It's old. It's hard to open and close. But it is a beater. It's a good camp knife. It's reliable. It was designed for the outdoorsman. Can't say anything wrong about it. It's good for scraping pine sap off of the trees. Not gumming up your good knives. I have an additional pencil sharpener in this pocket as well. One more pocket. We're almost done. And to the delight of everybody watching who's banging their heads on the screen wishing it was over, the only thing left in the pocket is something that you can even use to plug your own nostrils as you turn away from this video. It is your average everyday clothespin. Any number of uses, from hanging up clothes to dry on your rickety clothesline to devising a MacGyver-esque image of a crossbow with the spring and the leverage of the stick and the coil. You can do anything you feel necessary and possible with a handful of clothespins. Worth having. They weigh almost nothing, and you can make it rain.
That wasn't as funny as you anticipated.
Well, I had to wind up to some kind of ending. So folks, if you're still watching, I really appreciate it. I know it's been painful. You need to go wash your eyes out with some hydrogen peroxide. It's all good. We've all been there.
Very useful. I mean, there's a lot of things. I know that you've gone through probably every one of these items with me, but sitting here with you as you're describing it to everybody else really puts a lot of it into perspective, and I've learned a lot, you know.
Well, I'm glad that you took the time to learn, too.
Right.
Even if it's just from me, you know. I hope that it gives you a little bit of an inclination to think in the regards of what can you use to help yourself.
And, like, I will also start thinking of things in different ways. Like, how may I use a clothespin, you know, while I'm out fighting for my life, or, you know.
Could use it as a trigger for a snare trap, because when you have your wire in here, that's a very slight amount of pressure. Have your wire hidden in there, your critter walks along, snags that snare trap, pulls that out of there, sets your trigger off.
You have a lot of everyday items. You know, you've got these gloves, the rag, petroleum jelly. Who would think to put that in there? You've got your nail kit.
A lot of hygiene
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's very, very helpful to know that you can use a lot of stuff that's in your house right now
as
a survival means.
If you're injured or ill, it's very very important to stay clean, especially
yeah.
if you're in an environment that's dirt everywhere.
Right. If you're out in the woods, you need hand sanitizer. You know, I mean, duct tape can definitely help you if you've got a bad wound. You've got your Tylenol, if you're in pain, go ahead and pop that. You know.
Also, it's important to note that there are additional items which should always be carried on you, such as a sturdy pocket knife and a good lighter.
Pink
High visibility. High visibility. If you drop it, you'll see it. If you get the camo, real tree, skull, grizzly, wintergreen colored lighter, you're going to lose it.
Yep.
Make sure you have identification so when they find your body, because you watched my videos and thought you could survive because of that, they can identify you to your mother. And I think that about wraps it up.
You just want to maybe do a top view of everything you got or something?
Yeah.
I mean, like over here you've got your weapons and,
So, going over everything, we have first aid, we have our reading material. You got to make sure you have plenty of cordage. Any necessary equipment that you need to find your way out of a situation or feed your way out of a situation. Multiple fire starting sources. I highly recommend, if you don't have a ferrocerium rod, get one.
He's used that quite a bit.
You can use these. You can light these soaking wet. This is, again, right now I have Q-tips in here, soaked in petroleum jelly. They burn a lot like matches in that fashion, but cotton balls in petroleum jelly are a lot more reliable. Maybe not quite as imminently handleable, but reliable. You want a good knife. A good, solid, reputable knife with a thick spine. Nothing fancy. You want to be able to beat the hell out of it and have it keep going. You want to be able to store water, procure food, have something. A pellet gun. Brilliant. I choose a bow. I can recover the arrows. A flashlight, a saw. Highly recommended. Firewood, building shelter. Here we go. We have the space blankets and the plastic sheeting, good for shelter. Sawyer water filtration straw kit. I keep it in the box because it has very valuable tips and instructions on how to keep it fresh and keep it working. Keeps it all dry, keeps it secure and all in one place. $30 on Amazon. Not a bad deal for filtering 100,000 gallons of water.
Yeah.
In the situation of a grid collapse, you got to drink out of the stream. Big deal. You got a Sawyer Life Straw.
And $30 may seem like a lot to you, but if we don't use this stuff is going to our kids. It's going to be passed on. It's going to be used eventually. And we are, we're going to get this stuff readily available for our children. If we're not here, they're going to know about this. Our kids are going to grow up knowing what this bug out bag is and what goes in here and how to use everything in here.
So real quick, finishing up, we got communication, direction, orientation, shelter, fire, water.
Water.
There's nothing else. You don't need anything else. You need a knife, you need shelter, you need fire, you need water, you need food. That's all covered here. The rest is all extra. And by the way, this pack, inside of the concealment pack, which I mentioned earlier, 17 pounds altogether. I'll tell you right now, I've carried packs upwards of 50 pounds and gotten pretty far with them, and I definitely understand the value of a light pack. 17 pounds is not that bad.
That's half the weight of our 1-year-old child.
Yeah, like my kid weighs twice as much as this pack, and he's a year old. So, he's a big boy, but he's a year old.
I wanted to mention something. You stated that with your bow and the arrows, in the state of Michigan, the arrows have to be concealed. Make sure that you check in with...
They have to be locked up.
Right. But everybody, you need to make sure...
During transport.
Make sure that you all check with your state laws, the federal laws, your local laws, everything, before you even think about carrying this in your vehicle or on your person, because you never know when something so little could be illegal where you're at.
If I carried this knife on my hip in public, felony. You understand that?
My husband would be going to jail and
prison
and missing out on years of his children's lives. Make sure that you are checking your laws to know that you are accurate.
Lock it up. If you're going to bring it with you, lock it up.
Yeah.
You're not going to need it in a split second.
Right.
If you're in that dire of a situation, you better be able to throw hands at least.
If you think it needs to be locked up, chances are it needs to be locked up. But once again, check with your laws, your state laws, because that will help you. You need to be knowledgeable about it, most definitely.
You don't want to be a prisoner.
No.
You don't...
Over something as little as a 5-inch knife.
Right. You don't want to be a slave to the government legally.
No.
It's not cool. The food is not great. The floors are sticky. They smell like piss.
You pee in front of people.
You gotta take deuces in front of people. It's not a good time. How many cups of coffee you get? Not very many.
Not as much as you'd like before getting out of bed.
And it ain't like coffee. It's like that powder stuff. But don't...
It's like one grind in a cup of water.
Don't go to prison, folks.
Don't.
Keep your stuff locked up appropriately. If they don't have any clue what's in your vehicle, that's probably the best thing for you. Like, you don't need to flaunt this stuff. You don't need to...
No, and that's not what it's for. It's not to show off what you have. It's to have what you need in a time of need.
Right. Nobody... And the reason I conceal my pack is so that nobody looks in the window of my truck when they're walking by and says, "Oh, that looks neat. I'll just steal that."
Right.
But if I got this thing concealed, thrown in the back of my truck, under a blanket, nobody knows it's there.
Right.
So it's important to stash your things properly and make sure that in the event that you're pulled over and searched for any given reason, that you're transporting the items legally wherever it is that you live.
Yep.
I urge you, because it's no good being prepared if all of your items are locked up in evidence. So with that being said, shout out to my wife, Taylor Hundley.
Thank you guys.
Tina Anderson. Yes. Shout out to Tina Anderson and her crew, which has been...
She's got
very
300
supportive
subscribers, so make sure you go and check her out a little bit.
And all of her subscribers have been wonderful to us. I want to give a special shout out to Far North Bushcraft and Survival. If you watch this video, Lonnie, you've been an inspiration. You've taught me a lot, and I hope I'm not just rehashing stuff that you've put out. I hope that I'm contributing something more.
Right. We're not trying to copy you, we promise.
Although we think that you're pretty awesome.
You are awesome. Thank you. Thank you for what you've done.
Shout out to Alfie Aesthetics. You're crazy Brit, but we love you.
Thank you, everybody, for all the support you've given us. We very, very much appreciate it. We've only been trying to up our channels for about a week, give or take. So we definitely appreciate that everything that everybody has done for us so far, and we hope that you guys continue to support us, to watch our videos, like our videos, subscribe, comment, whatever you got to do to get us out there. We really appreciate it. Lots of love to everybody.
All right. Good night, YouTube.
Good night, guys.